Right, hi everyone. Let's take this one outside. We have another video sponsored by Squarespace here, but we also have a little problem. And we're out here on the porch, and I have to show you this big piece of wood that I've been working on. Or rather, I haven't been working on. Check it out. This has been sitting out here on my porch for several months now. I did this first part of it, and then I kind of lost a lot of steam. But I'm tired of it looming in the back of my mind. I'm good at reading multiple books at a time, but I'm not good at working on multiple pieces of art at a time. So let me show you what I've done so far. Here's a little recap, okay? All right, so I did this painting on a 36 by 60 inch birch artist's panel, which I bought from Jerry's art warehouse, or I forget what it's called. I bought it from Jerry's for about $100, and I think it's that expensive because it comes with like a frame built on the back and everything. The first few steps of this are similar to the other wood panel paintings / drawings I've done in the past, which is to sand it a bit, and then there's some polyurethane involved. Actually, I think I just started right away with the acrylic paint, and I started this project back earlier in the fall when the weather was nice and it was pleasant to sit out on my screened-in porch and work on this project, sitting at a little table there and enjoy the breeze and some sunlight filtering through, right? But one of the main problems with this project is that when I finished this first stage of the project, and the paints I used here are golden heavy body acrylic paints. Those, I'm pretty sure that heavy body just means they're more expensive and there's more pigment in the paints, and I don't know, it's just better. Maybe you can water down the paints a lot more and they still stay more colorful, stuff like that. You can mix them with other mediums. I don't know. So I just started painting away. I wanted to do like a base layer of I wanted to block in some colors, but I ended up kind of getting a little bit carried away, and this bottom base layer ended up being a little bit more detailed than I expected. And then I got stuck there for several months, and for several months I kept on walking back and forth. I even coated it several times with polyurethane. Like, I gave it like 5 coats of polyurethane. It was ready for the next part, but I just didn't know what to do because the first part didn't turn out like I expected. And for months, it mocked me every day as I walked by it there on the porch. Okay, so that's how we got to this point. And now I'm just determined just to finish this, no matter how it turns out. This is not how I intended this stage of the drawing, the painting, to look. That's why I stopped working on it, but I've just got to keep going. I got to finish it no matter how it looks. I just got to finish it so it's done, so it's not sitting here, so I can move on mentally, physically, emotionally. I've just got to do it, okay? So let's do that now. But first, I will briefly mention Squarespace to you, however, because Squarespace helps you keep from getting stuck, especially when it comes to making websites. They make it so easy. They have such a wide variety of templates to choose from, and those are just a great starting off point. You can choose those templates. They all look wonderful, great, professional. They make you look like a professional web designer, in my opinion. But then you can take those and personalize them and customize them so much. And unlike this piece of art I'm struggling with, if you don't like where you're at with your Squarespace website, it's easy to switch between different templates and looks. And if you do get stuck, they have great customer service. All right, so go check it out, squarespace.com, to start with your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws for 10% off your first website or domain. In the words of the great philosopher, the last one to make their own website is a rotten egg. Right now, check it out. I have a bunch of paint pens here. This is what I'm going to be drawing with on this. I have a bunch more here as backups. So hopefully these colors are somewhat complementary or go with what I've drawn already. Obviously I don't do a lot of colored stuff a lot of the time. We'll see. I think I can get something done. Just gotta do it. Let's go. So in the first part of the video, when I was doing the base layer, you might have noticed that I was wearing casual clothes like jeans and a t-shirt. But here now, in the harsh, cold, frigid midwinter, I had to upgrade to things like a hoodie, and sometimes a hoodie and a jacket, and I was wearing my leggings and my jeans, and sometimes I was even drawing while wearing gloves, which is a weird thing to do because it affects the way you have to grip the pen. But even more than that, it was difficult because this is when I don't know if it's nature or the world or just life or just my own little artistic experiences here that I started to be thrown some curveballs, right? So I'll get into that in a second because I'm not 100% sure this painting ended on a good note, but you'll see that at the end. I do like how this started out. The style of the lines I was drawing with these Posca paint pens, the paint pens worked great, by the way. They worked great on this, basically it's a layer of acrylic paint that I started with, right? And then on top of that is probably about 5 layers of water-based polyurethane, and I don't remember now why I chose water-based polyurethane, but I did. And the markers worked great on that. I would sand between each layer. It was nice and smooth. And the style of lines I was drawing was very heavily inspired by the tar lines that they use to patch the cracks in the road, because I've been walking a lot and I see these lines in the road. Some parts of the road have tons of these wiggly, squiggly lines kind of just all over the road. Maybe I should take some pictures of them sometime and show you. They're just really cool. They're just really cool squiggly lines. I love them. And so I kind of was drawing some squiggly lines inspired by those. I like how they're a mix of natural and man-made lines because, first of all, the road is man-made, but then the cracks are kind of a natural force, but then they come and patch them with little, like, I don't know how they do it. Maybe they have like a little, I imagine they have, you know how people paint, I mean they do the, what's it called? Icing on top of cakes. Those little bags with the nozzle at the end, and you squeeze the bag and the icing comes out, right? I imagine they have a big thing like that, but they go along on the road and it's full of tar and they try to patch the cracks. I imagine that's what it's like, but I'm sure it's not actually like that. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? These patched cracks on the road? I'll post it. I'll show you a picture in the next video. I don't have any pictures right now. I feel lazy about taking pictures, but anyways, that's what inspired these lines. Anyways, after I finished drawing the lines, I didn't feel like the painting was done. I planned on ending the painting at that point, but then I was like, no, you know what? I could go back and paint with the acrylic some more to add like another layer, another dimension to it. And so I did, and I was really happy with how it looked. After I had finished painting with more acrylic, I was really happy with how it turned out. With this time, I made sure to use a lot of water, and since it was heavy body acrylic, I think that really worked well, because this way, if it was watered down paint, some of those lines from the Posca paint pens kind of showed through in some areas, and so it was a little bit translucent, stuff like that, and I was happy with it. I think it especially looked good from a distance, and you might want to look. I posted a picture on Instagram. I think it looks really cool, but since it was the middle of the winter, I think I was drawing and painting it like sometimes at sub-freezing temperatures, and the paint had a weird consistency and was, I don't know, it was kind of drying with a weird texture, which I don't think it looked very good close up. So I was a little bit self-conscious about that. I don't know, if it's my art, is it still self-conscious? I was art conscious about it, like, hey, it looks good from a distance, but if you look up close, they're not like nice smooth brush strokes anymore. They're like congealing weird, maybe because of the really low temperatures, right? It was like 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know, what is that, like -1 Celsius? And I don't know. That's when it started to go a little bit weird. The painting started to go off the rails a little bit. It was already off the rails a little bit because it's a painting on a big piece of wood when I normally just do ink drawings on little pieces of paper. So I wasn't too freaked out because I started out freaked out in a good way. Like, it was exciting. Like, how do I handle this? How do I, ride this Bronco without falling off? But that's when I started falling off a little bit. But it's not the end of the world. It's more making me want to try it again to see how much cooler it can be in the next painting. Now, when it got really weird and really kind of fell apart completely is when I thought, well, at first I told myself, hey, I can't put a final coat of polyurethane on this thing because I'm working on it outside, and the what's it called? Not a jar, not a barrel, the can. The can of polyurethane says it should be at least 50 degrees Fahrenheit when you use this to let it dry. And it was 30 degrees. It wasn't going up to 50 for like the whole week. Then I was like, hey, I can bring it inside, throw down a tarp, do the final coat of polyurethane here inside. So I did that. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because I was using water-based polyurethane, and maybe if I had used oil-based polyurethane, or maybe if I had used spray-on, like aerosolized, and from a can, maybe if I had done that instead of brushing it on. You can see on the brush, there's a little bit of pink. It started to smear the paint and the paint pen stuff, maybe because, I had had the painting inside for a few days at that point, so I think it had dried all the way, but maybe something about the polyurethane I was applying was smearing, and I don't know, it kind of ruined the whole painting, in my opinion. It kind of started to, it was smearing it, smudging it, smushing it all around, kind of making it a little bit blurry, and it started to pick up the Posca pen, which really, really surprised me because up to now, the Posca pens have really seemed almost invulnerable, right? I've been able to do almost anything to the Posca pens, and they don't get picked up or smudged, or I've been able to, I don't know. So I didn't expect it, but it happened. But now I know to expect it next time if I try to do water-based polyurethane on top of the Posca pens, right? That's how you learn. And I don't know. Maybe I'll just do the next painting on top of this one. I could just keep going since it is a $100 piece of wood I did this project on. I feel like I've heard of old painters doing that, just doing multiple paintings on top, like they find some old painting and then they start restoring it or something, or a piece chips away and they see some other painting underneath. I could just use this big $100 board to do multiple practice paintings, right? Plus, it's still immortalized here on YouTube and Instagram, even if I do paint over it, so not so bad, right? All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. You're all great. You're beautiful. And let me know if you have any tips. I'm sure someone knows exactly why this polyurethane made maybe it's just because, hey, if you brush at acrylic paint with water, it smudges it. But no, I don't think it okay, I'll figure it out. Okay. Bye, everyone.